Today I'm going to be making a lentil coconut milk curry with a special secret ingredient that I learned from Burmese food, and it's super delicious and you're going to want to try it too. Let's get cracking. First thing I did was to gently dry roast some chickpea flour in a pan. And this is something that I learned from Burmese food that they use a lot of. They use a lot of chickpea flour roasted. They put it on salads, they put it in curries. I find it really gives a coconut milk curry a really delicious flavor and thickens it up quite a bit. As for spices, I'm using some cinnamon, green cardamom, black cardamom, star anise, fenugreek seeds, and cumin seeds. I'm also using some garam masala that I made, some turmeric, and some hing, which is also asafoetida, and some mustard seeds that are all going, the mustard seeds are going to go in first, and when those start splattering, then we go in with the rest. First thing I'm going to do here is get some oil hot. I'm not going to use a ton of oil because the coconut milk contains quite a lot of fat on its own. So while that's heating up, I'm just going to dice some onions. And those are going to go in right after the spices. Another thing I did was make some garlic paste, garlic and ginger paste. Just bash some up in a mortar and pestle. Super simple. You can also buy it in a jar as well. But I prefer to make it. I know what's in it. Salt, ginger, garlic. Simple. So now that this oil's getting hot, I'm going to go put those mustard seeds in there. Those are going to start crackling, popping. You can go the rest of the spices. And we're going to temper this oil. At this point I'm going to turn it down a bit. Those spices are going to get nice and toasty. Alright, so those spices have been toasting up a little bit. I'm going to stick the onion in there. And we'll cook down this onion a bit. And we'll come back, throw in the ginger garlic paste, and the rest of the spices. Next thing we're going to do is the ginger garlic paste that I made. And that's going to go in. And cook that off a little. And then we're going to add our ground spices, which is going to be, I'm going to start with the hing, asafoetida, a little bit of that. A little goes a long way, that stuff. People say it smells really terrible, but I really don't find any issue with it. It's often used as a substitute for onion. I believe in some places pregnant women aren't allowed to eat onions, or it's frowned upon to eat onions, so they use asafoetida as this kind of substitute to get that kind of oniony flavor. Next, some of my homemade garam masala. I don't remember exactly what the ratio is that I use for this. I don't really use ratios when or measurements at all when I do this. I just kind of go by ear. That toasted up, and some turmeric. Bit of that. And we'll toast these up, and then we'll add our tomatoes. Now that these spices are smelling extremely aromatic and extremely delicious, I'm going to stick a few tomatoes in here. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did in my black bean soup recipe. If you watch that, you'll know what I'm talking about. I want to cook these tomatoes down and take them to the point where they're almost burnt. They're kind of sticking to the bottom of the pan. And mash them up a bit. And just really take it to the limit. And that's just going to develop tons of flavor and be super delicious. All right. Next step, let these tomatoes get almost burnt. We've got some good stickage down here. It's almost burnt, but it's not. It's just kind of super caramelized. At this point, I'm going to add some coconut milk. Not all of it, but just a little bit. I'm eventually going to add this whole can in, but I'm going to use this to kind of deglaze the pan. I just splashed myself. It's all right. If you want to cook without getting dirty, I don't know what you're even doing. And I'm going to take this down. I'm going to let this kind of simmer for a little while. Taste it. Tastes really good. After this simmers a little bit, I'm going to add the rest of the coconut milk and the besan or chickpea flour. At this point, I've got a super flavorful coconut milk spice paste. You may have noticed that there is no chili in here. There's no chili powder. There's no fresh chili. That's because I'll be feeding this to my daughter who does not like spicy food. I'm going to add my own chili into my own bowl later on. But for the time being, this is not hot. Spicy hot with capsaicin. So I'm going to add these cooked lentils now. These are just red lentils or masoor dal. And you just throw these in there. Fold them into the coconut milk paste mixture. And that right there is pretty darn good already. I mean, you could definitely eat it like this. But I'm not going to. I'm going to take it a little over the top by adding more coconut milk. And also the secret ingredient, which is the toasted chickpea flour. So that's going to go in too. And that's going to thicken it up, and it gives it this really awesome, kind of nutty, deep, dark, toasty flavor and aroma. It's just amazing. Try to make sure that you get it fully dissolved in there. You don't really need that much. I used probably a tablespoon and a half or something like that for a cup of lentils. And that should do it. And you're doubling up on your pulses here by adding the chickpea flour in too. So nothing wrong with that. Let's have a little taste. See where we're at. Very good, but lacks a little more coconut milk. I'm going to dump the rest in because it's just the water at the bottom. And needs a little bit of seasoning, so I'm going to add a little salt in there too. One thing I didn't do today that you could definitely do is to use curry leaves. You put those in at the beginning, right around the time that you put in your whole spices, before you put your onion in. At least that's how I do it. You may have your own way, a better way. Still could use a little more salt. And we are pretty much done. And there you go. Lentil curry, coconut milk with chickpea flour. Super delicious. Serve that with some flatbreads. I'm going to serve it with some basmati rice. Super simple. And do it. Do it once a week, at least.